Welcome to this episode of Talking Content, where we have a very special guest, Ashleigh Goodchild, joining us to talk all about her content strategy for her real estate agency and also for her personal brand. Now, in this episode, there is some gold to discover. You're going to get to hear about how Ash is able to create so much content and distribute it across so many channels, making it look like she is absolutely everywhere on social media. You're also going to get to hear about the one type of content that Ash would create if no other content was available. So the one piece of content, the one content type that Ash would focus on, and it might be something that you can implement in your business and your content strategy almost immediately. So without further ado, let's jump into the episode with Ash. You seem to be everywhere, on every social media platform, all of the time, with content that is not the same on every platform. How are you doing it?
So I guess that this is something that I hear a lot, that I feel like I'm everywhere, and I am. But it honestly doesn't feel like that. And I've got some things that I do in my business that I'm always prepared for content. So it's such a perception game. I feel like it's great that I'm getting that feedback from yourself and from other people that, Ash, you've got lots on and it's all moving really quickly. And it is. But I do believe that everyone is exactly the same. There is just one small difference that I'm doing that other people aren't. And so I'm really excited to get in with that today.
Oh, can you jump in? Actually, don't tell us yet. Tell us your story first. Tell us how you ended up being here, and then tell us that one thing.
Okay. How did I end up being here? I think it is by a love of creativity. I think that there are lots of property managers that do love to be creative and they need to engage in that a little bit more. I do my content out of pure enjoyment. And when you ask me these questions today about, maybe tracking results and things like that, I don't know. The truth is, I don't know. I love content. I love producing it. I love being creative. I love sharing the behind the scenes. Something that has always stuck with me is that if we don't share enough, people will create stories in their mind. And those stories are quite often assumptions. And it's just something that I always feel. I don't want people to assume. I want you to know and I want you to see. So because I've got this mindset of don't assume anything, I'll be honest enough with you so that you can see what happens in my life or in my career. Then you don't have to go make up stories that might be untrue. Really, probably a really weird mindset, but it's just something that I've always believed in.
Wow, I just wrote that down, Ash. I just wrote down, I don't want people to assume, I want you to know.
Yeah.
That's incredible, because so much, when I think about what I hear from my clients and the people that I'm talking to about their content, the thing that seems to be that we are most afraid of is what people will think. It's what they will assume.
Yeah, it's a scary
And you're just
place.
fixing that.
Yeah, assumption is such a scary thing. I mean, assumption is ultimately a place of lies. So
Yeah. Wow. I just need like a little mind-blowing emoji here for a moment. I think that's going to appear in my stories. I'm going to quote you today.
I was actually just picturing that little image of my face with that quote. I mean, it's not very often that I say, cool stuff or anything
But you should write that down.
I might write that one down too.
Yes.
But yeah, no, content is fun. Content doesn't have to be scary, but I also am of the thought that if you don't love it, then find someone who does love it for you, like yourself, and have them do it. It's really, really important, and it has helped my career. Like I couldn't be where I am without my content and my socials. And I just feel like it's just such a personal resume online for you. It's your reputation, and it's the only thing that you truly own as well. So it stays with you forever. So you're really you're not doing yourself any favors by not being on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to ask you then about, you really love creating your content. A bunch of the people who listen to this podcast love creating their content, but some people don't love creating their content, but they're not quite ready to maybe outsource it to a team like ours. What's your advice to help people love it a bit more? Because even if people outsource to a team like ours, it works so much better when there's involvement from the person who owns the accounts. So what made you fall in love with it? Is it something that you've always felt? Or can you advise us on how to fall in love with it?
Ooh. I think that, and I don't want this to make it sound like I'm an attention seeker, but I think that the reason why people don't post is because they're scared. So when you get past that barrier and you're posting and you get nice comments and people, and it's helping people and all of that, that's what gives you that confidence. So it really is just a practice and trial and get more confident, like in anything that you do, whether you play sports or, in your job role. Social media is exactly the same. So you sort of just got to do it, and then that makes you feel a bit more comfortable. One thing that I do that I think is maybe different is I don't think of the content first. I decide what I want to post first, and then I match the content to that. So what I mean by that, and actually I do this in two different ways actually. With my work business SoCo page, I think of the topic ideas, I think of the hooks, and my videographer creates content for that topic. Where in my personal, I have content on my phone and I have something and I go, okay, I want to post that video, I want to post that photo, what am I going to write about it? So I do it in reverse, not strategically, it's just the way that I do it. So my tip really is that one thing that I do is I record everything. I take photos of everything. I don't know when I'm going to use it, but now I've got a library of stuff on my phone that one day I will have a random idea and I'll go, you know what, I've actually got a video for that. I've got a photo for that. If I'm not feeling well, if I'm going on holidays, I've got content that I can use. So that's probably the biggest thing. I've always got content on my phone, and it might at the time seem very pointless. It might just be a video of me on my computer. Today, I've got this shattered sliding door glass at my house. It just went bang yesterday afternoon, and it completely
I saw it.
Really was not a good way to end my week, to be honest. But what I did is I've taken a photo. I've also taken a video of it because I actually thought it was going to fall because I could hear the crackling of it. So I was like, oh, I want to get this on video. But it didn't fall, but I just got the video of it. Now, I don't know when I'm going to use that, but one day I might just be thinking about an analogy with a broken glass, or that one time I had a broken sliding door shatter on me, and I've got content now for that. That's how I always have something to post. And if I'm feeling uninspired, I just scroll through my phone and my camera roll and go, you know what? That one looks good. Let me post that. And that's literally all I'm doing.
Wow. So can I ask you about your process then in terms of, are you batching? Are you on the fly? How do you do this?
So I batch for work content for SoCo because that's, I guess, more of a professional platform. So I do batch for that. And then for personal, I don't batch. The only time I schedule is when I'm going on holidays, and I just don't want the pressure of having to post and be on my phone while I'm away. So whenever I'm away, you'll actually probably find me more active, but it's generally because I've just scheduled everything in to give myself a couple of weeks break. But otherwise, it's all very ad hoc. And it's interesting because I speak to a lot of people about their content. And I think people, again, with using the word assume, they just assume that you schedule it all in and you're super organized with your socials. But the truth is, I just post whenever. I wake up in the morning and go, okay, I need to do a post. And then I go through my content, I find something and I post it. And that's how I do it. So it's not, I definitely wouldn't be saying that it's bulk. If I'm doing educational content, I think it's because I don't stress about creating the content. I don't need to work myself up. If you were someone and you had to work yourself up to get on camera and you were particular about how you looked, 100% you should be bulking, because the time and the energy taken to do one video is the same for 10 videos. Where for me, I don't really focus too much on my hair and makeup for the day. And I don't have to wind my energy up to be able to do it in the first place. Therefore, it takes me no energy to quickly do a video. So for me, doing one every day versus doing a batch of 10 in a week makes no difference.
Wow. That's a really good point. If you have to hype yourself up in order to get on camera, do a bunch, because if you've got yourself to that place, just keep going. But if you're comfortable on camera and you're happy to just whip it out, then you can kind of do that at any time of the day.
Yes, you can do it when you're at a property, you can do it when you're in the car, you can do it when you're in the office. It's not a big drama. You just work it into your day-to-day routine.
And then can I ask, if you're doing things ad hoc, are you posting them live then and there? Or are you recorded something, wrote the caption at 1 o'clock, but you know that your audience is more active at 7 o'clock, so you schedule it for then? What do you do?
Yeah, I feel really even bad and guilty saying this, Ellen. I don't really pay much attention to the time of the day and when people are looking and things like that. I don't focus on that because I am doing it from a place of enjoyment, not a place of trying to get business. So for me, if I have already posted something in the morning and I think of a cool idea, or I've just gotten off the phone with a client, which is a great topic, I absolutely would record it then and there. I would be more likely just to schedule that in for the next morning because I've already posted for today. So I would be then scheduling it in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And look, done is always better than perfect in terms of timing. Anyway, it's so easy if you've captured something right now, it's so easy to forget to send it live or schedule it. Sometimes you're just better off just get it live now.
Yes, and I think as well, in that moment, it's your energy that comes through when you've just got off the phone from that client with a great question. You need that energy and personality to come through at the time of you experiencing that situation. When things are recorded and batched, in my opinion, sometimes I don't feel that energy come through when you go, oh, that's a good topic. Let me write it down and let me do that tomorrow or on Friday when my hair and makeup's done. It comes across a lot different, I think. But then saying that, I do both differently. So I do have my batch, my pre-recorded, my professional, and then I have my ad hoc raw whenever. So I do have both.
And so can I ask, have you noticed, even if you're not diving into the analytics, have you noticed that a particular type of content has performed better for you?
Yeah, and do you know what? It's the dumb stuff. It's the dumb stuff that performs well. And I think to myself, I do some really good educational content, some real helpful stuff. No, they just want to see the mango being cut up or something stupid like that.
I remember your mango video.
Oh my gosh. And you know, the story behind it, it was then got onto the news, and it was like Australian mango lover Ashleigh Goodchild. My partner called me up, said, Ash, I've never seen you eat a mango in your life. And I was like, I know, now I'm Australian's mango lover. Like, it's humorous, it's funny. It's unpredictable, and that's why you should just try everything, because it's very unpredictable. However, I did. It's always been the random stuff. It's the mango cutting, which was terrible video of mine. It was this a security door handle little trick that got a lot of views and a lot of attention. The other day, I posted one on my Instagram, and again, I was going out for lunch. I was waiting for my sister in the driveway. I was just standing there. I was like, oh, okay, I've got my hair and makeup done. Let me just quickly do a little video. Put my camera down in the driveway garden bed. I walked away from the camera. I looked at the camera. I walked back. So I just had this random video in my camera. And then I saw this really cool quote that came through on someone else's Instagram, and it was like, a Coke in a bottle, a can, and McDonald's are 3 different drinks. And I was like, yes, they are. They're 3 different drinks.
They are.
My Coke. And so I was like, okay, I'll just put that text overlay over that video that I just did in the driveway. Now that one, I was just actually going to bring it up. That one actually performed really, really well. And so again, it was nothing related to anything more. So that one got probably 7 times the views of any of my other reels. So that one got 4,000 views, when all the rest of my reels get sort of around 1,000. And it wasn't anything, but it showed my personality. Everyone knows that I love Coke. Everyone knows that if I'm in a stressful moment, Coke's my go-to. And so it resonates with my brand and my reputation as well. So it's not completely out of whack. But yeah, it's just unpredictable. That got the hit. So then what I do in my mind is I go, okay, that one went really well. What's some cool work stuff that I can post immediately after while I'm getting a little bit of traction? So I tend to do that. If I get something that's pretty getting a lot of views, I'll then do something a little bit more about what I do for work so that I can piggyback off that. So that's something that I do keep in mind.
That's really clever, because that sort of fun, engaging stuff is probably not the stuff that landlords message you to say, can you manage my property? But it helps get you exposure to those people who might eventually message you.
Yes, and you just don't know who's watching. So I have a client that I didn't know was a client because he was under a different name. And he had always sort of interacted with my posts, but didn't really know much. And then I found out who he was. He must have messaged me with a mention of who he was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was you. You know, we've been messaging for a while. And he's like, yes, thanks for helping with my property. And it was funny, I made it into this bit of a game, because his property, we had a bit of a crappy tenant in it, and it was getting a little bit stressful. And I was like, started to make video content on Instagram saying, I've got this property, and you know, I know that my landlord's watching. So when you see this, just know that I've been to the property, we've done this is your update. And we sort of had a bit of fun with it. And he loved that. And then when we had that big issue with his property, it was not, he could see that I'm a good person and that I'm doing everything I possibly can to help him. And I feel like he appreciated the situation and what I did so much more, because he knew me as a human. And it's very hard to be angry or frustrated at someone who you know is a decent person just trying to do their best in a crappy situation. So for my clients to know me personally makes a massive difference, and it definitely does give me the extra buffer that I sometimes need for them to know that I will always act in the best, in your best interest. And he sent me a little hamper and to say thank you. You do a lot. And when I share my stories of things that have happened in my day, the other day I had 2 complaints about my tenant's dogs pooing in the backyard, and that was a bit of a headache. And that same client messaged me and said, people just don't understand all the stuff that, property managers have to go through. And I was like, I know, that's why I try to showcase as much as I can. But I guess that humanizing of those personal things, like that Coke, like, whatever's happened in the day, they yeah, those clients, those people know me as a person first and a property manager second. And I think really at the end of the day, that's really our goal. How can we make sure we continue to do that?
So that makes me want to ask, we have a lot of people in the property management space who are not business owners like you, who are not in BDM roles, who are not responsible at all for rent roll growth, and are hearing that perhaps they should be building their own personal brand and having their own social accounts. You highlighted the advantage of allowing people to get to know you. Can you talk a little bit more about that, your opinion of team who are not responsible for rent roll growth, building their own?
Well, I think you've got the growth side of things, and then you've got your reputation. And as a employer, I do look at a social platform, and I do get a feel for a vibe for somebody. I am not personally bothered if it was a property manager who had just their personal socials on there. That's totally fine. I mean, I'm looking to make sure there's nothing negative as well, but I'm also just looking for a neutral account. If you had something where you were, promoting what you do and your love of what you do and your passion, it probably would get you a few extra brownie points, in my opinion, even as a property manager versus as a BDM. I just feel like it's just a it's just your reputation, and I just guess I want to have a positive reputation in the industry, and the best way to do that is by having that on socials. And it also means that you're not going to attract the wrong people, because whether it's a client or an employer, if they or an employee, if they see me in my true, state, and then they don't like my true human state, well, then that's great, because they're not going to come anywhere near me. You're like doing me a favor. So it can work in both ways. And then if they like what they see, they're going to be your biggest fans. So whether they like you or whether they don't like you, it's actually the best situation to be in. It keeps those clients that like you. It repels those ones that don't. You can't get much more perfect than that when it comes to attracting clients, staff, employers, whatever it is. That's like the ultimate destination.
You're absolutely right, because it means that you're not going to end up attracting clients who are not the people you want to work with. Because it's a hard enough job when you are working with people you basically like. If you end up with people you basically don't like, that makes it a hell of a lot harder.
So then if we look at a neutral account that doesn't show anything, there's no positive, no negative, well, then we come back to that word assumptions. We have to assume that type of person they are, because we've got nothing else to go by.
That's so true. So true. So can I ask you about platforms you distribute content on, and not just social media platforms, because you have a website, you have an email database. What are you on, and what's your favorite?
I'll start with my favorite, because my favorite is always LinkedIn, and it might be a safe option because it's a respectable place that you can have an opinion, and people are kind and they are educated and they comment very respectfully, and I love that place. For me, it's just a great business platform, so it's always one of my favorites. I love that you can be location specific, and that's really helpful. So that's probably something that's very beneficial for using LinkedIn. So I'll start with that one because it's always my favorite. It's easy to schedule, just easy to use. With the other platforms, WhatsApp is a great one that I've had lots of good success with. That would probably be my second favorite. I have a great group in there that I've created. I love that it's underrated. I love that there's not many people using it, so it makes me stand out because it's something different that others aren't. I love looking at platforms that other people aren't really using. I don't really like using saturated platforms, because then you're just like everyone else. So my WhatsApp is great from the point of view that I have what I call a trail of clients. So they are people that I'm educating. So we all know the whole educate, sell. It's purely just education, and while I don't have those clients now, I'll get them in the future. So that is very good for my reputation, that group. So that'd be my second favorite. My third favorite platform would absolutely be YouTube. And the thing with these three platforms, which is also important to mention, is they cost you nothing. It's free. Like, marketing does not have to be expensive. So the YouTube is great because it started off just being my storage library. It didn't cost me anything. It was a place I could put my videos when I had an idea, or when I didn't have any ideas for social media. What was I going to post? It was great just to look at my library and go, oops, yep, that's a great video. Even now, I could go through my videos and go, oh, here's a blast from a past video. Let's post that. I can find content very easily there, and you can be quite strategic on YouTube. And the other thing is again, not many property managers are using it, so it's very easy to stand out if you know how to use it correctly and be clever. It is a slow burn, which is probably why many people don't continue to use it. So you have to make sure that when you are, sorry, my phone keeps on pinging. When you are using it, you are making sure that you are marketing these social channels. So I think that's something that a lot of people aren't doing right. They might be using them as in being active on them, but how are you promoting them to your clients? How are your clients knowing that you are there? How do they know that I have a WhatsApp group? How do they know I have a YouTube account? Like, what are you doing to do that? And then that comes down to our emails. And so you've got our email signature. When emails go out to new clients, here's how you can stay in touch with me, connect with me on LinkedIn, staying in the loop with my WhatsApp group with off-market listings, stay educated on my YouTube account. I'm sort of listing that on my intro letters and on my emails, because you have to keep on sending people there constantly. So they would definitely be my three top platforms that I like to use. And like I said, it's just a strategic place, because you property managers that are listening, I've been talking about it for a long time. You're still not doing it. So what are you waiting for? Like, just get on it. But we go onto Instagram, which we've got Facebook. What else? We've got TikTok. But everyone's on there. It's really hard. You're constantly fighting for attention. And so they're where you should be, absolutely. But it can feel like, I guess you can probably feel a bit more pressure being on them because you are fighting to be seen, where the other platforms I probably find a lot more relaxing because I don't need to fight to be seen there.
Okay. Yeah, that's powerful. So can I ask you about, of all the different types of content you create, and you do kind of everything. You have long form written, you have long form video, you have short video, you create carousels, you kind of do everything. I mean, you have audio as well in terms of you host a podcast. If you could only do one type of content going forward, what would you choose?
I would choose, very strategically, podcast.
And now tell us why.
The reason why is because the ability to repurpose is so much easier. You know this. You could do one podcast, and from that, you can plug it through your AI platform. You can have a newsletter summarized about it. You can create a blog about it. You can capture 5 really cool quotes that you or your guest have said during the thing that you can post. You can put it onto YouTube. You can create shorts out of it. Little shorts are like little 30-second snippets. You can put it into your WhatsApp. You can put it onto all your social media. Out of that 1 30-minute podcast that you've done, easily 10 pieces of snippets that you could do, without a doubt. You could literally create a month's worth of content out of that one podcast. That would be the easiest thing to do, in my opinion. And the other thing is that you wouldn't actually even have to do it yourself. So yes, you have to do the podcast yourself, but you literally can just give that to your VA or your assistant or your husband or whoever, and they can create and schedule everything for you because it's still your words, it's still your personality. To get support is amazing. So yeah, you could do one of them a month and pass it on to your VA, and you'd have a month of content easily.
Oh, I love that. And I feel like property managers are not tapping into that opportunity just yet. And it is still a growing opportunity.
Yes.
And
So
it's easier than you think it's going to be.
yes, so easy. And podcasts are not expensive. Podcasts can be cheap or can be expensive. It depends on how you want to do it. I do a mixture of expensive episodes and where I go into a studio and I do equally as many free ones over Zoom as well. So it's great. You've got those opportunities to do. And it's educational content, and you can do podcasts solo. You could do it with your business owner. You could do it with your colleagues. You can do it with your clients. You could and you could do it for a 5-minute recording, an hour recording. There's no rules. It's just whatever you want to do.
That is the fun part of podcasting. There are no rules. You can have short or long. You can do it on your own or with someone. I agree that it is some of the almost easiest content to create and the easiest content to repurpose.
100%.
So can I ask you about the tools, tech, hacks that you're using? Because we're all going to want to know, what pieces of software are you using to help with your content creation?
Opus Clip is a favorite. So Opus Clip is where you can plug your video in and it will create those little snippets for you. So that is something that I use very, very, very much all the time. The second thing I use all the time is Pod Squeeze. Pod Squeeze is great. You might do a video interview or a recording with somebody, and I put it into Pod Squeeze and it spits out sort of everything that I need, from quotes, captions, transcripts, the whole lot. Because I do a lot of video content, they are my two main texts that I use. ChatGPT, obviously, like everyone should be using that these days, and it's great, but just making sure that you're pumping through, tweaking it multiple times. You're not just taking the first response it spits out, always making sure you get into it 2 or 3 times with going back with questions to personalize it a little bit more would be my tip for ChatGPT. But then in terms of scheduling, I tend to just do it directly through the platforms these days. I do have a platform that I was using called Missing Letter, and it's fine. However, I just found that I was having to reconnect some of the platforms. Sometimes it like cuts down. You've got to reconnect all your socials again, and that just became a little bit annoying. So I find it pretty easy just to put it directly into Instagram, and schedule it directly into those platforms. And I tend to just do that these days, and that's really all. And just your good old trusty iPhone.
The good old trusty iPhone.
Not
And are
complicated.
you using any extra tech attached to your iPhone? Are you using a microphone? Are you using a light? Because the people will want to know.
Yeah, I don't use a light. However, I do try to make sure I've got good lighting where I am. So I do position myself in a natural environment where I've got that, but no extra light required. I should be using a microphone, and I'd love to get on here and say, of course, Ellen, I use a microphone, but I always forget to plug it in. And, I don't know, I'm just ad hoc because I don't really plan. I just do. So I don't use a microphone at the moment, but I'm also I'm not using it for just that personal in your face content. If I was out to do a video of a property, then yes, I would use a microphone. And I have tried the fancy Rhodes or Rode, however you want to say it, microphones, and I just find them a little bit complicated, so therefore I don't use them. Maybe I'm using it wrong. I feel like just a classic cheap plug-in microphone is all you would use. Whatever you are going to use is what you should be getting. If, like I said, I've got the fancy stuff, I've spent the money, I've got the good stuff. It's just annoying, got to charge it. Sometimes I haven't charged it. I'm not using it. It's pointless, but it's the best one in the business probably. But yeah, if it's too hard, you're not going to do it. So just be simple.
And it's so much better to have it out there and published than to have your audio exactly perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you were to leave us with one little tip, one word of wisdom, what would that be?
Well, I was going to save that word of wisdom, but I've already said it, so I'm going to have to repeat it because I don't have a second one. So my word of wisdom is 100% record everything you do every day. Take photos, even if you don't know how you are going to use it. When you're at that restaurant, take a photo of the food. When you're working at your desk, take 30-second video of yourself working at your desk. When you're going to a property and you see a nice kitchen, take a video of the kitchen. Just take video and photos, and you will then start to learn to use it down the track, because you're not doing your content right now because you don't have that, you don't have those videos and photos, and it's too hard. So it's incorporate it into your day-to-day routine is also probably the biggest thing that I do, always having that active mind. And when you make it just part of your day and you think of things that would make, that are interesting or would make good content, and then you're not ready to record it straight away, just put it into your notes, and then maybe you've got a matching video down the track that you can match it with. So just always having something available, even when you don't think you're going to need it, is what I would recommend, because it also means that if you do employ someone to do your social media, or if you do get Ellen to do it, then ultimately, I don't know how you work, Ellen, but ultimately, if they could put everything into a Google Drive, just all those weird ass videos, and gave them to you, I'm sure that you would have 20 million ideas of how you can use it. So therefore, their personality is still coming through, but they've just got the expert tweaking it with music, text, and scheduling it. So you're doing your future self a favor by having it done as well. And you're helping Ellen as well, I'm sure.
That is exactly what we do, Ash. And we have clients who we always give them a Google Drive folder that they can drop things in. And we have clients who do exactly that. They're just out taking photos and videos, and they're just dropping things in. And we just troll through and go, oh, yes, we might use that. Thank you.
Well, there you go. I didn't even know that. So I'm glad that that matches up with how you work as well.
And it works whether we're doing it for you or whether you're doing it yourself, as Ash has said. You don't have to have outsourced your content creation to have somebody on my team troll through your content. You can do it yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that, Ash. I have just written down record everything, because I feel like that needs to be an Ashleigh Goodchild quote also.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us here. We will link all of your socials in the show notes, but if there's one place that people should come and find you, where would you like them to go?
LinkedIn.
Go and connect with Ashleigh on LinkedIn now while you are listening, and see some of the cool stuff that she's creating there. Thank you so much for being here, Ash.
My pleasure. Thanks, Ellen.